Prepare to get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. This week, Boss update their Katana range of amps, and the internet gets all salty about it. Squier adds some new classic vibe options, and PRS squeezed David Grissom's tone into a little 15-watt tube amp. Actually, it's not that small. This show is sponsored by guitar auctions at 𝗬𝗦𝗪𝗏𝗪. More about them in a little bit. Now, let's kick off this week's most exciting gear releases with a bit of a looker from Gretsch. I'd never heard of 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗪 until this week. In fact, he sounds like a character from the A-Team. But man, does that man know how to spice up a Falcon. This limited edition signature Falcon is what's called an Oro Sparkle finish. The maple body is 17 inches wide and 2.5 inches deep. Yes, it's a thick boy. The standard 25.5-inch scale U-shaped neck is also maple, and it's got a 12-inch streaked ebony fingerboard with rolled edges. I know it doesn't look like ebony, but it is. It's streaked ebony. Hope it smells of bacon. It's nice to see Gretsch thinking about tuning stability when making a guitar like this, because they've used a Graphtec nut with the Bigsby vibrato and Grover locking tuners. Also, it comes with a deluxe hard case. Woo! Now, this guitar is not for everyone, and no guitar ever should be. It is sparkly, with a bit more sparkly, and it is of course a signature model, so who are we to argue? The Gretsch Falcon has never been an affordable guitar, and this one is no different. It's coming in at around 4,000 notes, and as I have said, I have no idea how big and successful 𝗬𝗪𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗏 is, but it's got to be someone worth noting because he has a signature Gretsch. And I did listen to his music, especially from the release video of this guitar, and I dig that rhinestone, old-timey country sound, and I guess that's what you're going to get with this Falcon. Personally, I'm a huge fan of flat finishes that are also understated, but I also love over-the-top, beautiful, sparkly craziness. It's just that middle ground that I kind of shy away from. But this Gretsch is so full-out, sparkly, elegant. It even has sparkly gold inserts in the Filtertron pickups. I didn't think that the original White Falcon could be improved on in terms of classiness and grandeur, but I don't necessarily see this as an improvement. It's more of a sideways move. And I would love to see this finish on an Electromatic model, because if you're looking for an eye-grabbing show guitar, this is certainly way up there. Number 4, hoping to repeat the success of the fairly recent SE signature guitar, which is my favorite looking SE guitar that I still haven't played yet, PRS have teamed up with David Grissom once again to release the PRS DGT-15, a more affordable version of the DG Custom 30 released a few years ago. The DGT-15 has 2 EL84 power tubes, it's tube rectified, and the preamp has 3 12AX7s and 1 AT7 to boot. So that's 4 tubes in the preamp section. It's also got a built-in tremolo, hence the T in DGT, and it's got a reverb and a foot switchable boost function that boosts both volume and gain. In designing the original 30-watt version, David specified that, and this, pay attention here because it's quite a long list, he wanted the tight bottom of a 50-watt plexi, the warm top of his Fender Tweed Deluxe, the mid-range of his favorite Vox AC30 reverb, and a mid-range control like his old 50-watt high-watt, which can go from scooped American to more British. That is a hell of a list of requirements there. It's varied, and I don't know if it's possible, because that's a lot. Is that just going to sound like everything? But the 15 should be sonically similar to the 30, so we should be able to hear it in the demo video that PRS released. But the 15 has those added features. And also the 15 has front-facing controls, which I usually find to be more convenient than controls on the top. David says that he thinks this is the right amp for people who are playing small clubs and still want to get the quality of a tube amp. I took a listen to the sounds in the release video, of course, and it certainly does sound like it covers most of the ground that David specified. It sounds crispy and bright, but then rolling off the volume, it sort of cleans up. And the good news is it's coming in at just over 1,200 notes for the amp and about 400 extra for a matching cab. Unsurprisingly, I would really love to try this amp, as I love my Fender Deluxe Reverb, but I wish it had some of the qualities of the Vox AC30, and who wouldn't want the tight bottom of a 50-watt plexi and the mid-range control of a high-watt. But I'm also a massive fan of trying to put things in other things and squeeze all that into a small model at this price. I am just a little worried that they maybe have done or tried to do too much. I think the price is extremely reasonable, so if it does deliver, this might actually be the first PRS amp that I would consider buying. Before we get to number 3 on the list, it's now time to talk about this week's sponsor, guitar auctions at Gsardner-Holgate. And I warn you, hide the credit card, there's some good stuff this time. Don't skip this part, because guitarauctions.co.uk have some very exciting gear coming up in their new listings, and it's great to have them back as a sponsor. There are 4 complete days of guitar auctions that you can bid on in person in Bath, UK, or online live, which is what I'll be doing. It starts on the 11th of June, which is the Artists Associated Guitars and Memorabilia Day, with artists such as Bernie Marsden. And on that day, you can bid on this Gary Moore Les Paul. On the 12th of June, they have the main guitar auction. And on that day, they have this very cute Mini May listed at £100. The 13th of June is when you'll find the amps, pedals, and other stuff, such as this very cool Super Beatles cab from the 1960s. And the 14th is where they auction the antique and classical guitars. You can register to bid by going to the website and clicking live bidding. And regardless of where in the world you live, Guitar Auctions at Gsardner-Holgate will assist you with shipping, and that works super smoothly. I know this because I've bid on guitars in the past and managed to tick some off my bucket list. And I will be bidding on some this time around, which I'm not going to share with you. But maybe you can take a guess and have a look yourself by checking out the catalogue, which is online at guitar-auctions.co.uk. On with the show. Welcome back. This is the part where I say that if you're enjoying this weekly gear show, consider that subscribe button and the thumbs up button and all the other buttons so that people get to see it in the future because you've buttoned all the buttons. Thank you. I love the confidence of a single pickup guitar. It says, I know what I am, I know what I can do, I don't need a neck pickup. But looking at this Kramer 84 with this red bullseye finish, confident is exactly the word to describe it. The reissued 84 model is somewhat of a modern classic. Yeah, a modern classic Super Strat. It's got an older body with a slim taper C bolt-on hard maple and walnut skunk stripe neck and a hard maple fingerboard. There's a Floyd Rose R2 1000 locking nut and a Floyd Rose 1000 series tremolo, which I've heard mixed reviews about, so I would be interested in hearing what you think about that. As for the pickups, they are Kramer 84T humbuckers, and there's just one volume that has a push-pull for series parallel tap. No tone knob needed here, Kramer. I actually couldn't find reliable pricing for this because the 84 Red Bullseye was previously available a few years ago and then discontinued. But looking at the other 84 Berettas, my hopeful guess is that it's going to be around 800 notes, depending on where you live, of course. Although I am not a shredder by far, for some reason this guitar really appeals to me, and anyone who's looking to shred on something sub 1000 notes and doesn't want to hide on stage could be very happy with this guitar. I will admit, it is the red and black colors that are the main reasons that I like it. I don't think it's the wrong reasons, it's just they're probably not the right reasons. If I find prices and a reliable place that sells this guitar, I will put links to that in the video description and the first comment, which is where you can also find all the information about everything that I talk about in this video. At number 2 this week, some new additions to the Fender Squier Classic Vibe range. The Squier Classic Vibe has to be one of the most successful guitar ranges that offer some of the best value ever. Yeah, I went there. Recognizable Fender shapes, but with good specs and, importantly, affordable pricing for most players. They're not entry-level, they're not pro-level, but with a bit of TLC, they can be pro-level. What is pro-level anyway? They're just usually really great guitars that need a bit of a setup. I also love what Squier do with experimenting with different shapes and different ideas and different specs. But this time, they've kept it fairly vanilla, but still somehow exciting. We've got the limited edition Classic Vibe 60s Stratocaster with a humbucker at the bridge, the limited edition Classic Vibe 60s Custom Telecaster, and the limited edition Classic Vibe 60s Telecaster with a humbucker at the neck. The Strat is available in Sienna Sunburst and Lake Placid Blue, which has a rather beautiful matching headstock. The humbucker-equipped Telly is available in black or Sherwood green, both with matching headstocks. And the custom 60s Telly is available in satin Dakota red. Honestly, I can't choose a favorite. I think they're all kind of cool. Probably the black is my least favorite, but Victor, that edits this show, loves that Sherwood green Telly. Don't you, Victor?
I absolutely adore the green Squier Telecaster.
All of these have poplar bodies and a C-shaped maple neck with a 9.5-inch Indian laurel fretboard, except for the 60s custom Telly, the red one, which has a maple fretboard, which you can probably see. All the pickups are Fender designed, whatever that means, and the rest is exactly what you would expect from these kind of guitars. It's nice to see Fender keeping the classic vibe range fresh with these new additions. And yes, I know they're not the most exciting releases in the world for some, but the Squier Classic Vibe range not only offers official Fender shapes at fairly budget prices, but they ensure that other companies give us almost Fender shapes at better prices. So that's another reason to love the Classic Vibes. My only concern is that these have the C-shaped neck, which, although is probably accurate for 60s, Squier do seem to put C-shaped necks on almost all the Classic Vibes that I've played. So let me know in the comment section, actually, if you have played a Classic Vibe that doesn't have a C-shaped neck, or if I'm looking for a Classic Vibe with a really fat neck, that's what I'm trying to say, and I'm asking you to do, my research for me. But while you're there, let me know which one of these Squiers you would pick up, and why.
Andy's Pick of the Week.
My pick of the week is the new Nebula Signature Series fragrance from John Petrucci in collaboration with Captain Fawcett. The first 1,000 bottles will come with a limited edition Nebula guitar pick and a monogrammed enamel badge with a uniquely numbered card personally signed by John Petrucci. Nah, not really. I mean, everything I've just said, unbelievably, is true. That's a real product that's really going to be available, but it's not my pick of the week.
Andy's Pick of the Week
Is the Boss Katana Gen 3 series. The updated, seemingly unbeatable amp series has caused quite a stir online, and not necessarily for the right reasons. There are obviously far too many specs to mention all of them because there's a bunch of amps here, but here are the highlights. They have everything that Mark II had, plus they have a new pushed channel, which is somewhere in between clean and crunch, and it sounds great with a Strat. I know, because I have the 50 and the 100 somewhere, and I did a review video this week, which you can go and watch if you click that card up there. But anyway, the amps now have Bluetooth, so you can connect either to the brand new app and or stream audio from your phone or Bluetooth-enabled device directly to the amp with no cables necessary. Everything from the 100 up has a contour switch for more tone shaping and a bunch of other features that I talk about in that comparison video, which is in that card up there that you can obviously go and watch. I recommend you do. It's good. If you're looking for a complete new Katana with a built-in tuner and an FX loop in the 50, this is not it. And this news has upset a lot of existing Katana users who may be confused somewhat as to what can be offered at these price points and what Boss want to offer at these price points. Hot take, I don't think we will ever see an effects loop in the 50. I think the Boss will always keep that 50 flavored, if that makes sense. And you'll need the 100 and above to get that effects loop. But I am slightly disappointed that there's no onboard tuner, as that would negate the need for any pedal to be used at all. And yes, we have clip-on tuners, but just for people that practice, you've got LED lights on their Boss, you could do it without adding an LCD screen or something that takes it too far away from being a Katana. I do, however, understand that people are frustrated by having to spend another 40 to 50 notes on the Boss Bluetooth MIDI adapter dongle thing. But I would wager that half of the Katana players would have no need for Bluetooth, and that Boss have possibly done this to keep the entry price down, or I don't know. There are other amps available in similar price ranges that have Bluetooth built in. For some reason, I forgive Boss for this. And if you really want that dongle, then spend $40. It's not that much, or is that? Yeah, I don't think that's fair. $40 can be a lot of money. Whatever. I think Boss did the right thing. Oh my God. What am I talking about? One thing that I don't think Boss has pushed hard enough is that they have rebuilt the sounds from the ground up, which means that this is not just a Mark II with optional Bluetooth and a few new pushy buttons. The sounds, although still Katana, are brand new, and naturally, I'll be putting this to the test in an upcoming video where I shoot out the Mark II versus the Gen 3, and I have high hopes for the Gen 3, so that's going to be exciting. If you already own a Katana, I'm not sure that this upgrade is necessary, unless you're really going to benefit from that app, which I personally will. If you don't own a Katana, then it has never been a better time to get one. And the 50 offers so much value for money, it's unbelievable. I think everybody should have a Katana 50. So, expect a lot of Katana Gen 3 content from me this year, as I have the 50 and the 100, and I will be getting further models as they are made available. Thank you to the wonderful people that support this show on Patreon. Their names are on screen now. Thank you so much. That sounded disingenuine. I genuinely appreciate it. And also, thank you to the lovely people who support the show right here on YouTube. Their names are also on the screen, and I appreciate you too. If you would like your name to pop up on the screen when I say that little bit, then all you have to do is click the join button right here on YouTube, or visit my Patreon link in the video description and first comment. Don't feel that you need to, but if you want to, the option's there. And then here's a special thanks to the top tier members. I'm going to read their names out again, all in one breath. I think that I had fun doing that last week. I'm going to try it again. Josh Tamberg, Sarang Narayan, Southern Panda 33, Andrew Morgan, Dustin Bonnet, Gary O'Neill, Doug Paget, Alinta Boston, Boom Shakalaka, Dirk. This prank is officially sponsored by Jason Welch, Buzzle, Michael Lerner, Buddha Blue, Hugh G. Rection, Pops Place, April Kurtz, Johnny McBadminton. Almost didn't make it. I didn't even breathe in fully. Fool. Thank you, top tier members. It makes that part enjoyable for me. I love it when I get to mess around in a video, because I'm very serious normally. Anyway, now go check out the online auction at Guitar Auctions from Gardner Holgate, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye! Still here!